Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the really fascinating world of energy consumption and financial strategy, pulling apart the core insights from Elena Cahill's book, Power Economics. Now, if you've ever thought of energy efficiency as just some chore or, a corporate buzzword, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to this. Okay, let's get right into it. Think about this for a second. What if saving the planet actually put cash directly into your wallet? I mean, we are constantly conditioned to believe that shrinking our carbon footprint means making a sacrifice, right? Giving up our comforts, paying way higher prices, or just dealing with pure inconvenience. Well, the source material completely flips that script. The main takeaway here is that smart energy use isn't just about being a good environmental steward. It's actually a direct, proven path to putting real money back in your pocket, whether you're a homeowner or a massive corporation. So, here's how we're breaking it down today. 1. The built environment. 2. The tech shift. 3. Universal property. 4. Real-world heroes. And 5. Taking local action. We're going to start way up high, looking at the power grid, and then zoom all the way down into your own living room. Starting with Section 1, the built environment, and rethinking our buildings. Let's zero in on the massive, completely hidden energy wasters that are literally all around us. 40%. It's actually pretty shocking when you realize that residential and commercial buildings eat up roughly 40% of all the energy used annually in the US. When people talk about cutting emissions, we almost always picture cars or heavy factories, right? But the places where we live and sleep and work, those are the real culprits. The Alliance to Save Energy really hit the nail on the head with this. They point out that most buildings are just needlessly wasting energy, forcing power plants into overdrive and stressing out the whole grid. The data backs this up, showing that over 2/3 of the energy we consume in the US is just straight up wasted. Our buildings are basically leaking money. All right, moving to Section 2, the tech shift, looking at microgrids and batteries. Technology is totally rewriting the rules on how we handle all this demand. We are in the middle of a massive structural paradigm shift. In the old days, generators followed the load. Power plants just blindly cranked out electricity to keep up with completely unpredictable human behavior. If everyone cranked their AC at the same time, the power company just scrambled to burn more fuel. But in the new paradigm, loads follow the generators. We're entering this era of smart systems that can optimize when we pull power, syncing up our usage with the exact moments when energy is abundant and super cheap. A huge piece of this puzzle is the microgrid. Basically, it's a localized energy system. It can hook up to the main grid, sure, but the magic is that it can also run completely solo in what's called island mode. Think of it as your own self-sufficient energy fortress. Day to day, it stabilizes demand. But if there's a blackout, it just unplugs from the chaos and keeps a hospital or a campus running flawlessly on its own stored power. And right alongside microgrids, you've got the whole electric vehicle revolution. Just to put the scale into perspective, 2.1 million passenger EVs were sold in 2019. By 2022, there were over 500 different models out there. We're looking at upfront price parity by the mid-2020s, and they're already displacing 1 million barrels of oil every single day. But here's the real kicker. EVs aren't just cars anymore. They are massive mobile batteries. Since they mostly sit plugged in overnight, they can seamlessly soak up all that cheap excess wind power blowing through the grid while we sleep. Section 3, Universal Property, Energy and the Law. Let's zoom out and look at the actual rules of the game. The author makes this really compelling argument that the sky itself is a shared natural resource. It's co-owned by every single one of us. It's our collective inheritance. But for decades, we've just let major polluters use this universal property as a dumping ground, completely free of charge. Economically speaking, we're giving away a massive public asset for absolutely nothing. So, how do we fix that? The text highlights a market-based solution called a carbon dividend. Right now, polluters use the sky for free. But with a carbon dividend, fossil fuel companies would pay a fee up front just to bring their product to market. And those fees, they get distributed directly as cash checks to you and me. It's modeled right after the Alaska Permanent Fund, where residents literally get a cut of oil revenues every year. It rewards citizens with cash, while heavily incentivizing companies to finally clean up their act. Which brings us to Section 4, Real-World Heroes, where profit meets the planet. Now, you might be wondering, does any of this actually work in the real world? Oh, absolutely. Power economics loves practical, actionable strategies. Let's look at Nod Hill Brewery. The owners took this totally standard industrial building up in Connecticut and turned it into the state's first ever 100% solar-powered brewery. And they didn't just do it for the good PR. The economics were just undeniably good. 326,076. By putting up a massive solar array, the brewery slashed their carbon emissions by over 326,000 pounds. That is the equivalent of planting more than 8,000 trees. But wait, here is the ultimate financial payoff. Doing this literally doubled the property value of their building. They crushed their operating costs and massively boosted their equity, all at the exact same time. And they're definitely not alone. Take Carlos Pasta. This is a facility that has to maintain NASA-level hygiene standards for their food prep. They did an energy audit, found a faulty backup fuel cell leaking insane amounts of power, and swapped it out. They saved a fortune without risking a single ounce of food safety. Or look at Olberg Steel, a heavy industrial mill. They just swapped out their old DC motors for modern variable-speed AC motors. That one switch took a huge bite out of their $1.8 million energy bill and made the factory floor way quieter and safer for the workers. And finally, Section 5, taking local action. Let's build your power plan. Let's bring this all the way down to your daily life. You can actually start saving money today with 3 super easy steps. Step 1, slay those phantom loads. Step 2, search the DSIRE website, which, by the way, is a fantastic database for finding local state rebates for efficiency. And step 3, get a proper home energy audit to see exactly where your house is leaking cash. Let's talk about step 1 for a second, because this is wild. Phantom loads, some people call it vampire power, are silently draining up to $200 a year straight from your wallet. $200. Just because inactive stuff like TVs, chargers, and computers are sitting there plugged in while you aren't even using them. You can slay these vampires by just using a power strip. Leave the room, flip the switch off, it takes half a second, and it puts $200 back in your budget. You can rack up even more savings with some quick hardware fixes around the house. If your furnace is past the 7-year mark, getting a high-efficiency model can literally cut your fuel bills and pollution output in half. Got an old energy hogging fridge? Swap it. The new models pay for themselves so fast, it's crazy. Swap your bulbs to LEDs and throw some cheap timers on things like hot tubs so they only draw heavy power when you actually need them to. So, we've covered a lot of ground, but it all comes down to this. Are you ready to look at your next energy bill as an opportunity instead of a burden? The tools to turn your home into a highly efficient, revenue-generating machine are sitting right in front of you. The tech is here, the financial incentives are totally lined up, and the upside for our shared sky is massive. So the only question left for you is, what project are you going to tackle first? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time as we keep unpacking the big ideas shaping our world.